After years of mismanagement off the field and losses on the pitch, it seems cricket in South Africa is in trouble. But can it be pulled back from the brink? I sat down with some of the new management and staff tasked with turning things around. Summer in South Africa is synonymous with cricket, and this country's love affair with the game is long and enduring. The Proteas are a beacon of national pride, and over the years, we've seen them scale the very heights of the game on the backs of heroes past. But after years of success, a crisis the likes of which has never been seen before is befalling cricket. Since 2019, the Proteas have suffered 3 consecutive Test series losses, endured their worst ever World Cup, and are struggling to replace a golden generation. Off the field, CSA is drowning in debt. There are accusations of maladministration and sponsors are leaving. Now, can new leaders like Jock Fall and Graham Smith rescue the game? I'm here at the famous Wanderers Bullring. This has been the scene for many a win for the Proteas over the years. But with the team struggling on the field and turmoil in the boardroom, how long will it be before they're able to taste victory once more? Over the past year, there's been a precipitous decline in the fortunes of the Proteas, witnessed by journalist Firdaus Munda.
We have to understand that sport evolves in different ways and that you have great teams and then you will have dips. What's problematic for South Africa is that our dip has coincided with financial crisis, with administrative crisis, with players having other options. And South African cricket were well aware that they'd get to a point in 2019 where you'd have 6 or 7 guys in their mid to late 30s who would be considering their options. And it's resulted in a very inexperienced team being fielded, and we're seeing the results of that on the field.
Chastened by a disastrous World Cup, CSA fired coach Otis Gibson and appointed Enoch Ngwe as interim head coach for one of the most daunting assignments in world cricket, a tour of India.
From outside, it's going to look like I was thrown to the wolves, but I never looked at it like that. To be honest, I embraced the position. Obviously, to try and turn things around in a short period of time, it is always challenging. And being in an interim position, the reality is that things are unstable. And that can really influence the team in a negative way.
The Proteas were whitewashed by a rampant Indian team and returned to South Africa to much uncertainty because of problems in the boardroom.
It's absolutely the worst state that South African cricket have been in because the problems are not one-dimensional. They're happening both on and off the field. And I think what you would find is that even in crises gone by, the team on the field was really strong. So when you've got a combination of the team losing and the administration in crisis, it can make the whole sport look like it's falling apart.
The major issue off the field is a financial one. CSA's inability to secure a broadcast deal led to the failure of the proposed global T20 league overseen by former CEO Harun Logart. This has been compounded by 2 seasons of the loss-making Mzansi Super League, draining the financial resources of a once cash-flush administration.
Also quite important is that Cricket South Africa financially props up the franchises. Cricket South Africa is pouring money into the domestic game, which it has to do, but it's costing itself money there.
Faced with the prospect of huge financial losses, the board, led by CEO Thabang Morwe, looked for ways to save money. The Members' Council of CSA unilaterally decided to restructure domestic cricket, increasing the number of first-class teams from 6 to 12. This brought them into conflict with the South African Cricketers Association. Their CEO, Andrew Breetska, takes up the story.
Our recognition agreement sets out clear consultation procedures if Cricket South Africa wishes to change the structure of the game. Because obviously a change to the structure of the game would impact player numbers, remuneration. The Members' Council made a decision in April of last year to restructure the game to go to 12 provinces without complying with our recognition agreement. And because of that, we ended up launching a court application, and that asked for that decision to be set aside.
At war with SACA and facing mounting scrutiny from the media, things came to a head in December when Morwe revoked the accreditation of several journalists, igniting a firestorm.
Lots of things were going wrong all at the same time. You had the Test captain, Faf du Plessis, begging for clarity. We had no idea who the director of cricket was 2 weeks before a major Test series. You know, Graham Smith had gone public in the media saying, I've applied, and then gone public saying, I've withdrawn, and then gone public again saying, I'm still in talks with them. So the pressure on Thabang Morwe was mounting and mounting and mounting. And I think ultimately it just reached a head where a decision was taken that if we silence the media, perhaps the pressure will break, and then the complete opposite happened.
We were sitting in a SACA board meeting, and every now and again a news flash would come up and saying Standard Bank not renewing. The next one was the CEO suspended, and you realize you're in a crisis. because if the sponsors start walking away, you're in trouble.
You know, in that week, Cricket South Africa completely unraveled. Journalists' accreditations were revoked and returned within about 6 hours. Sponsors pulled out, board members resigned, and ultimately, Thabang Moroe, the CEO, was suspended.
Carte Blanche requested an interview with Thabang Moroe, but he said that he has been asked by CSA to refrain from making any comments to the media. That's when Jacques Faul was appointed interim CEO, a position he held previously in 2012.
There's 4 health indicators for me. Now, in the past, we've had difficulty with at least 2 of the indicators. But I think it's the first time that all 4 are a little bit under threat. And the first one is the on-field performance. The second one is the pipeline that produces players for us. And then our financial capacity. And the third one is stability within the organisation. And to be fair, all 4, you got to acknowledge are under threat, and we got to improve the situation on all 4 levels.
With the England series just weeks away, his top priority was to appoint a director of cricket. He turned to South Africa's most successful captain, Graeme Smith.
Graeme, Cricket South Africa has been in trouble for the last year. For you, what does that feel like when you see that happening to a sport you obviously love?
There becomes a moment where you start to see something that you love so much could collapse. And I think my heart kind of took over and said, let's get in, let's see if you can make a difference, take it on, be a part of sort of building Cricket South Africa again. The one struggle we've got at the moment is a lot of inexperienced players, and there's not that balance of sort of the senior core that can share their experiences and help grow that environment well. And that's why I think the coaching staff was hugely important.
Mark Boucher, Jacques Carlos, Charles Langeveld, what roles do they play as coaches, and how important are they for the team?
Mark is certainly the most experienced international player coach that we have in our system. He comes with a large amount of international experience. He's a hard-nosed man. He will be getting the best out of the guys. They must be empowered and be accountable for their position. My role is quite extensive, in the fact that I've got to deal with everything under them. And I think the key job is to make sure that I provide a system that actually bring a lot of successful players that they can then, build on that environment and make it successful. So from a result perspective, we're going to have to be patient and we're going to have to be smart. But I'm hoping that this group of players can really step up.
Interim head coach Enoch Ngwe was asked to take on the role of assistant coach.
He's going to be an integral part of this leadership group going forward, and hopefully, he'll be a really successful head coach for us in the future.
Yeah, I'd like to take over, but to me, what's important is I just want to see South African cricket do well.
The Proteas began the English series with victory in the first test, but 3 subsequent defeats have shown just how much work is needed to get the team winning consistently again.
Got him! And a series win by 3 tests to 1.
It is off the field that Jacques Faul faces the biggest challenge. Over the next 4 years, CSA is projecting a loss of 750 million rand.
It's not a good position to be in. It's an unacceptable loss for us. We won't have enough reserves to cover that, so you've got to do further cuts, which is sad because you want to develop the game. But you can only cut costs and you can only increase income, so that would be the strategies that you look at.
He has also begun to repair the relationship with Saka.
I can tell you that in Jacques Faul's first week in office, which was about the second week of December, he flew to Cape Town and sat down with us. And that was the first constructive meeting we had had with Cricket South Africa in 2 years. And again, if people start focusing on what's in the best interest of cricket, I believe we can actually resolve these issues.
You cannot have such a strained relationship with your players. They're probably the most important stakeholder. And I'm quite positive once the legal matter is resolved that we can hopefully sit down and have a better relationship. But for now it's in the hands of the Members' Council.
It's been reported that the Members' Council may rescind the decision to restructure domestic cricket. This has been welcomed by Saka. But is this enough to appease sponsors like Standard Bank, whose decision not to renew their sponsorship will cost CSA 73 million rand per year?
It's difficult to replace sponsors such as Standard Bank, but it's obviously something that we got to take seriously because our whole development program is based on those contributions. We would spend over 300 million rand a year in the development and amateur sections of the game. And this is funded by organizations like Standard Bank. They've put their hands in their pocket and provide us resources to develop people. And so we should be worried about sponsors like that withdrawing.
With cricket in crisis, can it be turned around?
I sit down with business leaders and say, Jacques, we want to support you.
yeah, but you got to get your house in order. We got ourselves into a terrible position. We are in trouble, and it's significant. But I don't think, the patient's dead yet. But we got more than just the flu.
These are indeed worrying times, and it'll not be fixed overnight. But with the youthful team drawing on the experience of coach Mark Boucher and director of cricket Graham Smith, hope springs eternal. Constructive engagement between CSA and SACA has been welcomed. After all, no one wants cricket to fail in South Africa, and summer just wouldn't be the same without it.